World of Warcraft Midnight looks like the most interesting expansion ever because they are really moving the needle with a few things. One of them being housing. We just got off the Q&A and my thoughts are going to be coming here. Also, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the dungeon pool because that's an interesting hot topic as well. But overall, Midnight looks to be like crazy, 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 crazy expansion. I don't really I I have some conflicting thoughts on housing, and I just want to quickly say that the actual passion and quality that looks like is coming into this housing system actually kind of makes me sad that I don't have more time for it. It looks like the best and most complete feature that Blizzard has ever added. And I actually paused the review, like the announcement live stream in the middle of it to say what I'm about to say right now. It looks like the best like house builder or like customizer thing of creation that any game features. Like I actually think World of Warcraft is now the best house building game on the market, which is crazy. Like actually its own game, and it's better, it's better than other ones out there. So that alone, it's hard not to be extremely excited for Midnight. But unfortunately, they're doing a lot of things that make me really concerned with what the future of World of Warcraft looks like. And I want to trust them because if you guys know me, I'm very much heavily a proponent of the developers know more than we do. And I think they do in this moment. But I think the growing pains are going to be very unpleasant. Okay. And so we have already talked about this on stream and stuff a lot. Maybe multiple videos on this too in the past. But there is a lot of conversation going on with the combat add-on thing, okay? And I don't like what I've seen, to be honest. I really don't. It makes, I'm going to say this, I said this on the stream, but it makes me very, very worried about me being able to actually monitor the information that I need. Right now for Blood Death Knight, there are two major weak auras that I use that seem irreplaceable to me. One of them is the one that estimates what, like how long or how valuable, I guess, the Death Strike will be. And timing that perfectly is crucial to me surviving. And seeing that visual feedback is crucial. After that, the second one is measuring that against the damage type weak aura. And also against things like the Umbilicus tracker and Blood Shield tracker and just the Absorb tracker on my health bar in general. If I see I just took 80 million physical damage and I have a 12 million umbilicus up, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm in panic mode. If I see that my health just dropped from 10%, from 100% to 10%, but my death strikes estimation is back to 100%, I know I'm safe. Like these things are really important for me to be able to play the spec. And I have a feeling they're going to stop me from using them. And there's not going to be any replacement for them. So I don't have any optimism about this idea. It's them trying to control how bad players interact with the game in a way that they are brought up to a baseline. And I don't want to participate in that. I don't feel like this should exist. And I don't feel like it's fair to people who have played the game and have expressed skill in the game for many, many years. Because the idea here that, it's too encumbering to get add-ons to help improve your gameplay is just false. It's just stupid. And it's a really insulting thing to say to people who actively try to get better at the game. But long term, it might work out. Like it might make the game better. It's just the next year of my gameplay, I'm not encouraged by what they've said. Okay. So anyway, we'll see what actually happens here. I don't want to react to stuff without having it in front of me, but it does sound like add-ons like Plater are going to be useless. There's probably going to be a lot less that can be done and tracked on the nameplate, which is crucial. Like you have no idea how important coloring the nameplates was for me. Maybe that feature will still exist in Plater because they did say that they won't interact with cosmetic stuff. But a lot of minor stuff in Plater as an add-on is really crucial to me and the visual clarity of such. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. But I definitely worry about weak auras and tracking. On top of that, they also made some other small announcements, like, for example, Collecting a class appearance unlocks all lower difficulty variants. This is really shocking to me because honestly, I thought this was intentional. Like, I thought they were trying to get you to go do LFR for the colors that you don't have already. Or more so, that they were putting LFR as the best colors to get you in there. But then people were saying that they were making it so you couldn't actually need transmog or something. Like, I don't know. It's just conflicting, I guess. So, yeah, I guess they needed to do this, but I'm really shocked that they're doing this. This is a pretty big deal. They're also removing Valor Stones, which I just simply don't care about. Like, this is not a thing, but apparently a lot of people care about it. I didn't read any part of this, but people were saying that cooldowns and the decision making is from healers are going to change. They're also elongating. That's in the. I should probably show that, but it's actually in the development notes. Yeah, we still have that up, right? I'll show you this real quick. Mind freeze. Oh, is it not? It's 2 words. Mind freeze. Yeah, there we go. So every single talent, or I guess every single interrupt in general, is having 2 seconds added to the duration of the silence. Okay. They're also getting rid of DRs, or they're getting rid of the permanent DR. Where was that? That was an insane read too. I read this on stream. They're making it so in PvE, stuns will always exist, but the worst they'll ever be is 1/16 of the duration. So, here, this is going to be bad, but times, what is asphyxiate? 4 seconds? So, yeah, 0.25 seconds. Is that the right number? You guys tell me. But anyway, that indicates that you will always be able to stop a cast with a stun now, which was very frustrating before, where you would use it and it did nothing. It wouldn't stop any casts. So these are huge, huge, huge changes to the game, to the baseline of the game. But yeah, the main thing is, to me, just is the future going to improve between the Blood Death Knight, really the class changes in general. They actually talked a lot about that in this article here. Blizzard aims to make WoW more approachable. And it just, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who want it to be more approachable, but it doesn't need to be more approachable. You just need to get better at the game. I mean, that's all there is to it, dude. And skill and expression of such are crucial to playing World of Warcraft. The money men don't care about this, I guess, and that's probably a big part of why. But I don't know. I just can't shake this feeling that this was an intentional part of the game. It became a crucial part of what makes some classes fun, and them saying like, hey, we want that to stop being the case is just dumbing down the game in a way that I will not be happy with. But like I said, I think long term, this could be good for everybody, including me. I just think short term, it's gonna suck, and it's gonna feel really weird to go from live WoW to midnight. Like, if we do get the alpha, which I don't expect, but if I do get into the alpha event, obviously eventually I will get into something that is not live WoW's Death Knight. It's going to really be hard to play it because you're almost like a whole different class at that point. If you guys didn't hear about the Death Knight changes, that'll be coming tomorrow. I'm going to switch the order around. This was originally going to come after that, but I'm going to release this tonight. But anyway, let's talk about the actual dungeons, because I do think that a lot of people care about that. And we have what looks to be a very interesting dungeon pool. Okay, so we have 4 midnight dungeons, returning to that idea where it's going to be half and half. We have Magister's Terrace, which I think is probably going to be the dungeon I'm most excited for. 3 dungeons that we don't know a lot about yet, but they did do a pretty big overview of Windrunner Spire on the stream today. That seems like it might be a weird Mythic Plus, to be honest, if you listen and watch what they're showing you. But we don't know anything about anything yet. Yeah, unless there's alpha footage. Probably people are starting to put that out there now, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm not speculating about what those dungeons are going to look like. All I know is Magister's Terrace is one of the coolest locations in the game, and I'm very excited for that. We also have Algathar Academy returning, which I think a lot of people are going to like. A lot of people are going to like that. And we have Seat of the Triumvirate returning. This is a dungeon that got a lot of hate in Legion, but I'm going to tell you my perspective on that hate. It was unfounded. I think the dungeon is actually a very well-designed dungeon. It was just way harder than every other Legion dungeon, and that's why people hated it. It had terrible affix issues, like the third boss or the second boss, I guess it was the second boss. It was 3 bosses, so affixes like necrotic or even explosive and other affixes like it just didn't work well. The affixes and the dungeons didn't go well together, but all of that's gone, right? So a second attempt at Seat of the Triumvirate, I don't fear. I think it's actually going to be a great dungeon. It's a very large and wide open dungeon at times too. Skyreach is one of the more interesting Mythic Plus from WoD because of a lot of unique strategy things you can do. I doubt any of them are going to still exist, but I do have a video on Ace Games TV of like an advanced strategy guide for Skyreach because of how many unique things there were that you can do in that dungeon. So I think without those, it's a very mediocre Mythic Plus dungeon. It's a very linear dungeon, like without those things especially, because one of the crazy things you can do is you can basically start the dungeon, have somebody grip you past the entire first area of trash. I don't think this is going to exist. I don't expect it to exist, and I think it was requiring the resetting of the dungeon situation. So I highly doubt anybody would do it, even if it did exist, because it would mean you'd have to have a resilient key to even be able to do it. But anyway, that's something that probably is going to change, and Skyreach is going to be different because of that. And then the big one that probably nobody expected was a Wrath of the Lich King dungeon being included, and that is Pit of Sauron. That is a dungeon that actually we've been talking a lot about over the last few months, and I actually think it's like legitimately the only one that could be used. I genuinely think that. I genuinely think it's the only one that could be used. It's the one that can be used the easiest. Let's just put it that way. I mean, obviously it can be used, but yeah, I think this is actually a really good option, and I'm eager to see what they do with it, but it needs massive, massive changes. It can't go in the exact way it is, but it's a good start. So I would never have advocated for them to use Cataclysm or earlier, but you know, we had Grim Batol. Grim Batol was really good. I actually liked Grim Batol. I didn't like Throne. It wasn't terrible, but it was just unfavorable. And then we had Vortex Pinnacle, which was bad. Like, it was just not a good Mythic Plus dungeon at all. So we'll see. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We still haven't seen a second Mop dungeon for whatever reason. We are now, how many WoD dungeons? I mean, it's like almost all of them have been used now. So we'll see what they do. But I guess a lot of the season's going to come down to how good the 4 Midnight dungeons are. All I know is people are going to love Algathar. If you never did it, it's, yeah, unless they change it, it's one that people are going to love. Now, we also have one more thing that I want to show you guys here. And this is the Silvermoon. This is kind of like a first look at the alpha stuff. So this is not an actual announcement from Blizzard. But we have a very interesting world map here that we were looking at, okay? Somebody made this post on Reddit, and they're showing the actual like scope of Silvermoon and what it looks like and how big it actually is. Okay, so unfortunately, because the AI cam is like failing to block that out. But anyway, you normally be able to see under the mic there, but you can see the horde only portion is about 1/3 of the entirety of the zone. And I don't know, it's pretty big. I think what I would say about what I'm seeing here is that that was the old Silvermoon, right? So that still exists, and that area is still, you know, like fully encapsulated, and everything that's new is restored. So if you never played Warcraft 3 or you've never really been in Silvermoon a lot, basically Arthas leaves like a scar on the land in the wake of him entering and ultimately going to the Sunwell. And this scar is demonstrated by the city being cut in half, okay? That has been restored. The path that Arthas takes goes from here all the way down to the Plague Lands, and that is what cut the city in half. So this area right here was like in the game, and you could technically get into it, but there was nothing in there because that was all destroyed by Arthas. And I think it was almost meant to be like this half of the city blocked off that half of the city because there was Scourge and undead stuff going on there. This area here, I don't think this ever existed, and I don't know what the precedent for this area existing is or where it'll even be attached, because it doesn't seem to be attached to the Horde area. But, you know, they have these areas of entry, including the original entrance, and then the entrances that used to take you kind of to the abandoned area were blocked off, and now they're opened. So that's these. You can see these in Silvermoon currently. There's actually an exit out of like the the place, I guess, is at the Sun Fury Spire. The interior of the Sun Fury Spire, which is floating above the city and not visible here, is also horde only. I think that's meant to be this area. I don't really know what the names of the areas are, but this is where Lorthamar is in Silvermoon. So now apparently you can walk out the back or something like that and exit the rest of the city. But what's so cool about it is the docks have been reestablished. You, in the original Blood Elf zone, you would like have a lot of questing that was related to the coast and stuff like that. So I'm really eager to see what that area looks like. The zone looks absolutely gorgeous to me. But yeah, just seeing the actual breadth of the restoration of Silvermoon is, I mean, it's basically like the most exciting thing I could ever imagine happening to any one zone. So yeah, even though there's a lot of weird stuff going on with Midnight, there's so much good. Like, the good is unbelievable. I cannot express to you how good Silvermoon looks and the stuff that I've seen and how exciting. Another question is, like, what happens to the Blood Off starting zone? I don't know about that. But, like, everything I've seen so far has been absolutely outstanding. And the stuff I haven't seen, or, you know, like, who knows? There's room for improvement on these things. And housing, like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, it actually made me cry. I was near tears on stream because all I could think about was those old days when I would just log on to WoW for 12, 14 hours a day someday, and I would just do nothing, dude. I would just fucking sit there and do nothing. Imagine doing that in a house. Imagine doing that in a place to call your own, man. To customize it and really care about it. It feels so comforting and so warm, and it's honestly what WoW should have always been. I always used to just love hanging out in unique and fun areas in WoW. Like, I would just fly to random zones and just sit there and talk to my friends on Discord, or just hang and just sit there and listen. You know what I mean? The roof of Booty Bay. I used to do this stuff all the time, man, and I don't have that luxury anymore in my life. I don't have that kind of time, and I'm so stretched between all these other weird projects I'm involved in now with all the modding of all the games and stuff. That's like, I kind of miss those days because, man, if housing was in those days, or I can just go back to that time in my life, man, would we be all in on housing. That's how good it looks. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the future holds. I have one more video coming, a deep dive on my thoughts on Blood Death Knight changes, which are not good. And maybe we get into the alpha somehow and we can continue to take a look at this stuff. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, then we will be publishing Mythic Plus reviews throughout the weekend. And we will be back next week for Legion Remix, which will be starting on this channel. Next week will be at least 4 streams of of Legion Remix and nothing else probably. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews, and thank you for all the submissions.